learned to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming in on May 5th, 2020, and the stock market data dump is this week. We are going to see a lot of economic data come out. We're going to get balance of trade for the United States as well as a lot of other countries. But why is this important? Because we're getting a lot of data this weekend. There's really nothing else. Besides the economic data, you're getting a lot of the smaller earnings companies reporting, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go over that list again. I didn't make it clear in yesterday's video. We'll go over all of the ones that are expected to move. We did make plays, and we'll go over that. But I want to talk about what's kind of shaping up here for this week and what we need to be looking at. And then again, how this week plays out. It could give us a lot of information, or it could even tell us to kind of slow down here in terms of how we're going to be swinging everything coming up here. So there is a lot we need to go over. So you guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/thestockmarket. You could watch the plays live. You could join the chat. You could ask questions. All we ask is that you're positive and respectful. And the most important thing you need to do, post or watch this below. Let us know what you're looking at. You got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post those below. Okay. So we got a few things to talk about right off the bat. This is from Trading Economics, tradingeconomics.com. You come to the calendar, you will be able to see, well, what we have prepared. So at the beginning here of this week, tomorrow morning, you're going to get U.S. balance of trade, imports, exports. You're going to get that same thing from Canada. And then throughout the week, you're going to get all the other. You're going to get more manufacturing numbers. We got some data today. Oh, I need to make this bigger. Sorry about that. Almost messed up. Get some more oil stuff, but then again, all of the countries, but then now China. And now one thing that happened over the weekend, you're going to see foreign exchange reserves. A lot of that information is coming out. Somebody brought that up. So this is telling us something about the whole situation. Now, this is going to be important. It can move the market, but don't give it too much weighting. Again, that's why we need to see what the data is, what are the expectations, but something, all these countries are going to report. You're going to see a gap somewhere, and it's going to give us something very important. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market subtly respond to that before everybody else. So that being said, now, what we saw even today and even where we're at now is just the market. There's nothing bad enough to bring the market down per se right here, right now. However, at the same time now, stimulus or anything bad news worthy, but not that bad, that's good enough to keep it up. So an example of this is what we saw today. Really we started ripping towards the end of the day on news that the Treasury borrowed more in this year than they have in the last 5 years, and the market went up. Again, anything like stimulus or the Fed's going to do this, the market's taking it as good, where it's like, well, doesn't that mean that's a problem? But the market is taking that as positive because there's not anything really to the downside. Although we know it's bad and we know it's gonna, it's pretty uncertain. It's kind of already priced into a degree. I hate even saying that because everyone's saying, oh, it's priced in, but you could see, there's a lot of really bad expectations. So unless now that information changes and those expectations become a lot worse, then even bad news that isn't worse will be good enough to bring it up. And that's kind of where we're at now. But also what we're seeing, again, we saw some of that manufacturing data today, but the real data from the virus is now hitting. So all of the real economic effects, remember, these are 6 weeks delayed. You're now starting to see it hit. Now you're starting to see more negative 14% prints on manufacturing, more misses, more expectations of losses, but then seeing these bigger numbers, whereas last quarter, you weren't really seeing that, or 6 weeks ago. So that being said, now this is where the next leg begins, because now you're hitting that bad data, but now the next leg is going to come in conjunction here with guidance, because now, well, you already know it's bad. Then now people are looking at, well, what's going to happen next quarter? And then now what is this future data going to tell us? Pretty much once you get a lot of these data points, it's now you have one more point to really factor in the trajectory of where things are going. But a lot of people are even saying, even with this week, the economics and just in general with some of these earnings wrapping up and where we're at, a lot of people, even with Warren Buffett yesterday and the effect it had on the market, some people are talking about volatility is going to shoot up this week. It's going to get crazy. The market's going to drop. What I would say to that is just watch the bond market. If anything, that is going to show us really the truth of any matter. And if there is real fear or panic, it seems as if the Fed can't suppress it now. I don't think, at least, but I could always be proven wrong. But watch out for that. And again, we still have earnings. We're going to go over those companies, and it's still in full effect. There's still a lot of companies reporting, and really what I will say, though, to keep in mind is that a bunch of small companies can add up to a big one. It doesn't take that many, even though you're not going to see the same big companies and big market caps and big movers, you could still see big moves in smaller market cap companies, but it's going to just be more isolated from the market. However, it could still affect industries. If one industry does this, the other does that, it's going to have a trickle-down effect. So keep that in mind. And then finally, oil has been less noisy, and I'm saying ... That's suspicious because we haven't heard anything from oil. It's still at 19, well below some of these $30 price targets. And again, remember, they said May is everything for this output. So let's see what we hear. Let's see, even watch out for rumors. But now, as we come into May in this output, watch how oil trades. But again, and if it stays quiet for a few weeks, good, but don't let it slip beneath the cracks. So we're still watching it. It's not influencing the market. But again, now too, with oil being quiet, you could kind of see how some of that calmness has been reflected here on the market in general anyway. So those are your keys. Hopefully it helps, but you guys know what time it is. Let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I made a few set of trades. I will go over, and I have the first three here, Stamps, Roku, and Shop. These are the three stocks. I got both of these today. I haven't got Shopify yet, so I want Shopify, but it's expensive. It's hard to play. I remember last earnings, we flipped it with the debit spread, but we played it the week before. So it might be a little bit harder to flip here. I'm going to keep my eye on it, but Shopify is one of those big companies that can move. Besides that now, Stamps and Roku, I really, really like. I like Wayfair as well too. However, they're going to report tomorrow morning. We already made that play, but these were the two plays I made this morning. So right off the bat, I said it in there. I got it in the morning within 2 minutes of market open. I said this on the watch list yesterday, and the whole strategy here was getting the pre-earnings and playing the run-up leading into earnings. People are even asking me, what am I going to do with this play? We already went up on it. They're going to sell. I'm going to look at this play the day of earnings or the day before if it reports in the morning, but I think they report after hours. So that day of, right before the earnings report, then I'm going to balance the position. So if I'm up a lot on it, I'm either going to sell it, or let's say I'm up a lot, I could sell it, take profit, buy a cheaper one, or maybe I could ghetto spread it. I'm going to look at those options, but it depends on where I'm at coming into earnings, because then the play is not done because I still might get a put. So let's say that this contract's at like 3 something. We bought the 170 for June. Let's say it goes up to like $300, $400, maybe $700 before earnings, and then I could get a shorter term for $50 on the put side. I might keep that, but if this goes up to like 1,000, may make more sense for me to just ghetto spread it, get $800 profit. So the play is not done yet. But now here's the key from yesterday. I got it right in the morning, and I could have done this. I was going to do it with Square. I said I was going to hold back on them. I'm just not going to force any of them, but I still did get a few other plays. But the key was in the morning, I said, well, Roku's already expensive. I don't know what it's going to do. I set aside an amount. I told you guys that amount yesterday. I said I'm going to put like $150, $160. Just throw it in there right off the bat. That's going to be my first scale in. The idea was pick an amount, throw it in there, use that as my scale in. So now next coming days coming into earnings, if I go down on that, I could build a position around this plays going down, or if I'm up, I'll have more wiggle room. So that was the first play we did, but we got that early in the morning. Roku went up. They're still going up. I don't know what they're at right now. Yeah, they're at like $3 a pop. We bought them at 160, so I only got one. Holding that one through. Already gave you guys the gameplay with that. Then the next play I want to get both ways. I only got the put side, but I think I'm going to try to see if I can do a debit spread on the call. But we got Stamps, STMP, and I like this one. This is a good play. We've hit Stamps before, and again, it went up in value since we got it, but this one is going to be just like even Wayfair. This one has a lot of IV, so you could get caught up on Stamps paying for some of these plays that are really far out. But the reason why I like Stamps, I think it's good because even a 50% drop is still, even on the next week, is still considered 2 standard deviations on the stock, meaning that it's somewhat reasonable to assume the stock could drop 50%. So getting that at 80 cents, I like the price of it, but Stamps moves a lot. It's very volatile. That's why I want the calls, but it's just hard to get a play on. But they're one that can move. And then when you bring it up, 80 seems like someone they're like, why'd you get $80 on that play? Take a look at Stamps here. I mean, you could let's just pull up the yearly chart. We've hit these moves here. We've gotten some nice Stamps. So I think we hit that one early in 2019. But you can see here at one point it went from 201 to $80. It's at 160. So this move's possible. And then even then the report after that went from 82 to 37. And then you could even see last report went from 97 to to 200, they move a lot. So again, this isn't as more trying to predict what's going to happen as much as it is, hey, can we get something reasonable with that could move within a certain range and spend a little bit amount of money? Yes, that's why I only spent $80 on this play, so I'm only in $80. We'll see where it goes, but call side is still viable. We'll see what happens, but if I wanted to do that, I want to make sure I could get something with good exposure, but also I don't want to spend too much. And now I want to do a debit spread, but this relates to the next play on W. I like Wayfair because I just showed you guys what's up with stamps, and you see that it's moved a lot. Same thing with Wayfair. This one really surprised me. You guys know at the a month ago, this stock was trading at $20, and now it's at $130. That's a huge move. So that's why I want to be able to get calls on this. We did go both ways, but I got more on the put side, but I didn't do a spread on this, and I spent a little bit more money on Wayfair. They report in the morning, but this is what I'm even saying with the debit spread on something like stamps. When the stock can move a lot, it's better to leave more exposure to the upside when the stock can make big moves. Otherwise, credit spreads, debit spreads, they cap you. It's not really going to be the best. But again, if it's expensive like Tesla, I did a debit spread, it saves you money. So just be diligent on that. But I mean, either way, as long as you win, it's good getting a small amount. But just keep that in mind. Focus on protection before profit ultimately, but that's something to mention. But this is why I did Wayfair, and this is why I'm in it. But I grabbed that play. I did both ways, so you can't play this now because they're going to report tomorrow morning. So this, again, IV will already have an effect. But I grabbed 2 of the May 15th 185 calls, and then I got the May 15th 81 puts. I got 5 of them. So I spent $160 on the call side, $300 on the put side, or like $350. So it was like $500 or $600 total initial investment, a little bit more, but Wayfair could move. So I'm excited to see how that reports a lot. Again, had a crazy day today. It had a crazy day today too, so we will see. But those are that play, and then finally made a quicker play. It had reports. It was how the news got disseminated was a little bit weird, but they were saying that there was previous talks in the past about Google wanted to buy Zoom, and then people started getting hyped up on it, so that's why it started to go up here. But that news came out. It started to go up. I think we ended up down on that play. Yeah, they ended up dropping it like 40 cents, but we got the weekly 167. I spent a pretty decent amount. I spent 3 of them, so I spent like, what, $210 almost for the 167 on the Zoom call. So I was hoping that it would get some of the run-up. I even said it during the day when I made that play. You could kind of see here. The reason why I got it was volume because, again, I saw the rumor, but it wasn't, the rumor wasn't confirmed. It was right around here, and the volume started to go up. I said, well, I'm going to take this more on a volume confirmation versus the news. I said, if it does do good, we'll see. But you see, held the same price, implied volatility dropped because obviously what people were implying with that rumor, it was clear that it was misinterpreted, so it kind of came back down, or the stock stayed the same, but the volatility, the pricing dropped with it. But there's that. Those are all the plays as far as, again, tomorrow now, and to talk about some of these earnings, to give you a list. I have a few of them set up, but tomorrow, again, you're going to get all the companies in the morning. I think Beyond Meat will be a good one. I was actually looking at that, and that's going to be a secondary play I'm going to keep up here. I have it on one of these charts there, but I like Beyond Meat. I have 1 share. Maybe we get some shares. I don't know. We'll see. But then there's also Pinterest tomorrow. I think it'll move kind of like Snapchat, but, we made money on the Snapchat options, but Pinterest, the cheaper stock's a little bit harder, but I know some of you, that could be a potentially big mover. EA, with the whole gaming thing, that's when I want to look at. Oxy, I believe this is the oil company, so be careful there. Other than that, though, Shopify is going to be a good one. Any of these other ones in the morning, I don't think they're going to move a lot. Maybe Wingstop, and you saw how Texas Roadhouse reported after hours. But then PayPal, this could be a good one. And again, and when I say good ones too, some of these, I don't really focus too much. Some of these are going to be very hard to predict what they're going to do for earnings, but what I mean by this is these will be good earnings run-ups. I think all of these could move. Any company I'm listing here will have a good earnings run-up of some sort. So PayPal, Square, Peloton, Win, Lyft, Etsy maybe, but then Roku, Moderna in the morning. I want to see everything in the morning. Companies are kind of all cashed, I would say. But then Booking, that would be a good one even for the debit spread. Stamps, I really like them. And then that's it. Cloudflare maybe. Dropbox too, but I'm not too fond of those. But the other ones, bigger names, smaller floats can move a lot. Those will get some big run-ups. And now be careful because you've seen this, anytime, even when the plays I've made today, when they're very, very volatile and they have these small floats and have earnings, be careful because companies that move a lot, the small floats, stuff like that, they could get really, really crazy premium. And although you might be able to get some good deals and good gainers, you're also going to be prone to overpaying and just getting some real under quality crap stuff. So watch out for those. But like we're saying, these are the main companies: Zoom, Stamp, W, Shopify, Beyond, EA, PayPal. And again, Beyond really caught my eye. It sucks that Beyond's at $98 though, but I mean, they're at an interesting spot. I mean, remember, we got in the 50s or 60s on that one long-term share we have, so we'll see. But I think they might have a good earnings because, remember, we tried to play it last earnings, if you guys recall, and it did end up making that move before earnings, and then it leveled out. This could be something here. Maybe we were just 1 quarter early, but watch them. I had a video on there, but watch Microsoft. They did very, very well today, and they outpaced. And remember now, this is an earnings continuation, and Microsoft's kind of a slow mover. So when they kind of have this move here, I mean, that looks, again, different from the SPY. So watch Microsoft. I like them. Another set to watch, Boeing, of course. They were weird. They were lagging on the market today, but Walmart was up a lot today, came down, and then it pretty much kind of closed with the market a little bit better, but they were at an interesting spot. But then all of the value stocks, Home Depot, McDonald's, every single one of them moved very, very odd today. And what I mean by odd, and this could actually end up being very, very good, because if they keep doing this and kind of moving their own little pattern, we might start seeing that whole and McDonald's, Home Depot, Walmart trade reemerge again. So we're going to look there. And that's just these stocks that are, very high quality but have some growth in them, but they got good dividends. So watch that again. And I'm saying even to trade those. So watch out for that. Watch Snapchat, and then that being in line too. I still have that one play we need to manage there, but just Snapchat, if it breaks above 18 and it starts to get bullish this week on anything, that would be very good. But then Facebook, they're starting to come back. So remember that last earnings. Again, think Microsoft too in continuation. I like them. And then finally, we already had Zoom, but TLT, this is the bread and butter, our favorite play. But again, you guys remember, in between TLTs, this was our first TLT. We hit it at the end of July all the way till August. I mean, it took months for it to level out. Kind of the same thing here. So just keep that in mind. We need TLT to kind of level out here. But anything that's going to happen this week, anything that's going to be confirmed, anything that's going to be important, anything of that nature, you will see it reflected in bonds. And that is going to be the main thing to look at for. So that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you focused. This earning, pick and choose. But you need to control the budget and balance. It's a new month, so hopefully you've been staying disciplined. Don't force it, and like we've said, baby, you need to treat this like a business. Even earnings. Is earnings your best segment? You don't know? Go through it. Yeah, you don't know what earnings is? Paper trade it. Go slow, baby. You'd make the money faster if you took it slow. But the code loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go!